And Leslie Shedd. And that is the latest Texas redistricting fight. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has threatened to arrest Democrats who fled the state to block his redistricting plan, which is expected to give Republicans 5 more House seats. Democrats nationwide are pushing back, and California Governor Gavin Newsom is promising a November special election for voters to approve a new state House map before the 2026 midterms. That would likely boost Democrats' efforts to offset the gains that Republicans are expected to make in Texas. In a post from the official California Governor X account, Newsom mocked the president, mimicking Trump's Truth Social style in all caps, writing, "California will now draw new, more beautiful maps. They will end the Trump presidency. Dems take back the House." So joining me now to discuss this redistricting battle further is Congressman Brad Sherman, a Democrat representing California's 32nd district, and he's been vocal about the Texas redistricting fight and has called on California to respond. Congressman, welcome. We appear to have something of a redistricting arms race on our hands now, with California Governor Newsom saying Trump has missed a deadline on Tuesday and that California will now be drawing new electoral maps. Could California be in a position to make up the seats that Texas could lose if this goes ahead?
Not quite, but it certainly will make up for most of it, because it's not just Texas. They're trying to do this in Missouri and Ohio and Florida. But California is certainly the largest place where Democrats can respond, perhaps the only place that we can respond quickly. And I prefer an independent commission, fair districts, and in fact have co-sponsored legislation to require that in every state across the country. And we should do redistricting once every 10 years, and that should be required by federal law as well. But when Texas contorts the system, and Missouri and Ohio perhaps follow, if Democrats don't respond, then you end up with the most lopsided possible Congress that does not reflect the votes of the American people. So I would hope that Texas would abandon their efforts, even though it was a few days after Governor Newsom's deadline. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be what they're going to do.
Well, to your point there just a moment ago, these existing lines in California have been drawn by a bipartisan committee back in 2021. Would a redraw not be gerrymandering that California voters have also sought to prevent through ballot measures?
We want to prevent gerrymandering. But if Texas and Florida and Ohio gerrymander in one direction and we do nothing, then you end up with something completely unbalanced. And so that's why I think the California philosophy is best expressed in legislation I've supported for a long time, to have a fair system nationwide. But if one side goes like this and the other side ignores it for philosophical reasons, then you end up with the most lopsided Congress that is possible. The commission here in California, I think, did a good job. And you can tell that because we ended up with some swing seats. Some of my colleagues were elected by totals of 400 or 500 votes. And the commissions will always end up drawing a few districts like that. Politicians almost never do.
You've mentioned other states that could redraw their lines to benefit the Republicans. Do you think this is something that Democrats in California really want to get involved with by joining this tit for tat?
Tit for tat is not something that is anybody's first choice, but tit without tat is lopsided. And I would hope that Texas would reconsider, but if they don't and we ignore it, then we end up with a lopsided Congress. And, you know, I was on the board of California Common Cause, which is the organization that led the effort to have a redistricting commission here in California. And they have put out a series of criteria as to when they would accept mid-decade redistricting rather than just redistricting after the census, which happens every 10 years. And California meets that criteria. What we're doing is proportional. What we're doing is temporary. What we're doing involves the maximum possible level of public participation, in that the maps will be before the voters. They'll see exactly what we're doing, down to exactly where every house will be in a new district. And of course, we're doing this only for Congress, where we can offset what Texas is trying to do. We're not changing our state legislature. We don't have to. So I think that those Californians who, like me, want the fairest and best system will realize that in a world contorted by Texas, this gets you as close to fairness as you can get.
Well, Congressman Brad Sherman, thank you so much for joining us on BBC News.
Thank you.
Around the world and across the UK, this is BBC News.